one of these days we may get to hear Garth Brooks's version of it. It's in the can.
I hope we do. It's funny because the '90s and early aughts, when obviously this song came out in the early 2000s, but the '90s and 2000s were very, very interesting when it came to song cuts and things, because there were hits and album cuts that went out by multiple artists, but that's not typical in the industry. Usually it is, well, we're releasing this as a single, and then it doesn't make sense for anybody else at that point. But
Right.
then there are cases like the Leanne Rhymes and Trisha Yearwood with "How Do I Live," and like both of those went out almost simultaneously. They both became singles, and
Yeah, that right there was an issue. They didn't think one version fit the movie that they were making, so they had somebody else record another one.
right.
And the thing is, once you pull the license on the song, anybody can cut it.
Yep.
Once it's out there, once he put his record out, it was free game for anybody.
Well, then holds are kind of like an unspoken or uncontractual thing anyway. It's basically a handshake agreement, but like Joe Doyle, who wrote In Pictures for Alabama, he has a story where he had a song that was cut by Blaine Larson, and then Kenny Rogers also cut it at the same time because one of them had a hold on the song and the other one didn't, and they essentially got tired of waiting on the hold. So the other artist cut it, and there was no communication with the other
Yeah,
camp.
the only time that you can't put it out is if somebody pulls the license. Once they have a license on it, they have the rights to it.
Yeah, that's
And
more
then you have to wait.
contractual at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to wait until not till the song comes out, but once it has a license pulled, you have to wait until the record it's released on the record. And once it is, then that anybody can cut it. It's free game. So then it's play a game of chess. Which song I'm going to put out that nobody's going to rip off?
Right, right. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to hear the Garth version of that someday, because that would be incredible.
I would love to hear it.
I always thought that when I first heard the song, and guys, don't worry, we are gonna play the song, I assure you. But when I first heard the song, I was like, no, man, if I was 10 shots in, I would not be sounding that good still. Yeah, I wanted
Well, we did
more.
one when it was going when it we did one shot of Jose Cuervo and 9 shots of Patron.
You can't change it. Come on now.
I say that with no sadness because Jose Cuervo never gave us any kind of endorsement or anything with that.
Yeah,
So
what's
I'm not
wrong with
sad.
them? They should, by God. I mean,
It
shoot.
should have been a commercial.
Absolutely.
It still should
It
be a
still
commercial.
should be. Yes, I agree. Oh, man. Come on, Jose Cuervo. Get off your butts.
Well, you know what's funny is I have a friend. His name's Mickey LaMancha, and he actually lives up in Rhode
I
Island.
love Mickey. I love Mickey, yes.
Okay, so Mickey, when COVID was going on, and Casamigos was in short supply, you couldn't buy it anywhere, and he said, "Marla, you ought to try the Rock's tequila." And I said, "What is it?" He said, "It's called Terramana," and the Rock follows him on social media, and so I was like, "Okay." So I went and got me a bottle, and I was going to do a shot of it, and I was standing in the kitchen, and I looked down, and I had a Mickey LaMancha shirt on, and I mean, I had my hair wadded up in a bun, and I had on a Mickey shirt, and it was in camo shorts, and I turned around to Gary, I said, "Hey, video this," and I picked up that shot, and I held it up, and I said, "You probably shouldn't, but you're gonna. You know that you'll be sorry, but you wanna. One taste on your lips, you're on a one-way trail, floating in a sea of Terramana." And I shot it. And I said, "There you have it," and hung up and sent it to Mickey. I get back a message from Mickey and said, "Listen to this." And it was a message from The Rock. He had sent it to The Rock. And I looked
No.
like shit in that video. And yeah,
Oh,
Dwayne
that's
loved the song.
all
We
right.
ended up writing that
That
song. So hopefully sooner or later it'll be a Terramana commercial.
well, that story's going out on TikTok. That's my TikTok clip from this episode for sure. Man, what a great story, Marla. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Um,
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So you talked about the Beathards, and they are, I say they because Casey, obviously you have a long history co-writing with Casey, but Tucker has also recorded one of your songs, which is a little
Oh, he's
bit,
recorded multiple
yeah,
ones.
multiple, right. I'm talking about Rock On specifically, though,
Yeah.
because that song was kind of atypical of what normally comes from your writing in a genre and style base. So that was a co-write with both Tucker and Casey and yourself, right?
It's one of the only times me and Tucker have co-written with anybody besides just the two of us.
Right.
Um, and then that's Casey. We've written a couple songs with Casey, but most of the stuff that I write with Tucker's by ourselves. But he's amazing. He is definitely his father's son.
Yeah.
And
That song it's out on YouTube, but I don't think it exists on Spotify at all.
Well, I wonder why. It's called the Taylor Swift rule. He got Taylor Swifted.
What does that mean?
It means that he left his record label and just happened to be the same record label that's put a squelch on all of her stuff.
I got you. That makes
and they
sense
just
now.
completely shut us down. I mean, and you know, it's hard. It's hard because it affected me a lot. We were up there making money, and it was coming down the charts, and it was still making money, and it got shut down. And I actually just found out yesterday. I mean, I literally found out yesterday that somebody else cut it.
Really?
Yeah, we got another cut on it, which is I mean, that's great for us. Great for me and Tucker and Casey, all three. I'm not. Don't think I'm allowed to say who the artist is yet, or else I would. But yeah, I just found out yesterday that it got cut again.
Well, I mean, that's good news. I guess it can be bad news as well. It's kind of probably mixed feelings on that, I'm sure. All I know is it's on YouTube and it's fabulous. The Tucker Beathard version of that.
Oh, it was great. It went to #2.
Yeah, big song. I did not know that it had the. I won't name the label and all that, but yeah. I'm now that I know what you're talking about, I understand more.
It was swiftly removed.
Swiftly removed. Again, we're talking about the Cannon family here. Your grandmother has a Willie Nelson cut, right? At 92 years old. Am I right on this?
Yes. She sent me a video that said, "Marla, I know you are so jealous of me."
That's so amazing. That's like birthday cake stuff, right? Like that has to be on every birthday cake from now on.
He asked her to be in a video, and if I'm not mistaken, she told him that she was afraid there might be lewd women and drugs in the video, and she couldn't abide by that.
Nope. That's great. What was the name of the song?
A Little House on the Hill.
Okay. I'm going to have to check it out.
Actually, Dad videoed her. She was famous already before that, though, because she had a viral video of her playing harmonica. It has over 38 million views on it. And it's her playing Blessed Assurance on the harmonica with my dad accompanying her on the guitar.
It's just...
And we have shirts that say Mickey Raphael, world's greatest harmonica player, and it's got Mickey's name marked out and says Lyndall Rhodes.
That's amazing. Yeah, just family is...
We have a picture of Willie Nelson wearing one. I think it's over here on my mantle. I think I have a picture of Willie wearing my grandmother's T-shirt.
I love Willie so much for so many reasons. You talked about liberal, conservative, all of that. I love Willie because he's so true to himself in so many ways, not just musically, just as a human being, and just he's a shining example that kindness should win out in all things. Him and Dolly both are just
absolutely
shining examples of that, in my opinion, and we can learn a lot.
Well, you know what? Well, you know why? Because I believe that both of them, they don't let that political belief define their heart, and I don't think it should.
Yeah,
it shouldn't.
Absolutely.
It's part of what you believe. It's not a part of. It's not who you are.
Right.
And
yeah, and I think we could learn a lot from specifically those two people. I would say Chris as well, but he just left us, unfortunately. So
yes,
Chris was that way as well. Man, just an incredible conversation here. I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. I always ask a Mount Rushmore question because I just find it interesting. And honestly, you get 4 choices. And I'm going to ask you what your Mount Rushmore of songwriters. And I'm going to let you kind of narrow it down to just country songwriters. So how about Mount Rushmore of country songwriters as per Marla Cannon-Goodman?
oh, that's with me and mine. It's going to be hard. I would put Casey Beathard.
Mm-hmm.
I would put my dad. I would actually. There's three others that I would want to put on there, so that's a hard choice for me.
So you only get two. There's no honorable mentions here.
I know. I would. I would put Larry Bastian.
Mm.
And the only reason that these other two I'm choosing between, and I know you know who I'm choosing between, one of them is on everybody's Mount Rushmore,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the only reason I'm going with the other one. I would say Dean.
Okay. Nice. So who's
And
the
because
one that's on everybody's Mount Rushmore? I just want to make sure.
Hank Cochran
Yeah.
he should be on everybody's Mount
Of
Rushmore.
course, yeah.
He deserves his own mountain.
Personally speaking, I think Dean Dillon should be on everybody's Mount Rushmore at this point as well.
Oh yeah,
You know.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
But he's on mine because I mean he's his pen and my pen have been on the same page.
And he stuck his neck out for you too. So.
Yeah, and Casey has just been he's like the brother I never wanted, and his talent is endless.
Yeah. Just I'd love to talk to Casey too. Like you've mentioned so many names today, I'm going to be reaching out for to talk to. I think I've already emailed Casey, so maybe I need to follow that up. But yeah, he's incredible. Great list. I love that. Larry Bastian, I would not have expected that one, but yeah,
Larry Bastian wrote with me when I was green as a Christmas tree.
As a Christmas tree. Well. All right. Well, again, just people sticking their neck out for you. You mentioned earlier, I'll make this the last one, and I've asked this to somebody else with a famous father as well. If you know Jerry Phillips of Sam Phillips fame, he's Sam Phillips' son.
I don't know Jerry personally, but I know who he is.
Okay. Well, again, second generation. Both of your dads are extremely influential in the music business. I asked him if he was disenfranchised by his name. Did he feel any kind of added pressure because of his name, meaning your last name, yours being Cannon and his being Phillips? And he responded with, the name always opened doors for me, and why should I shut a door that's already open? But it's up to me to keep the door open. Do you feel the same way?
You know what? I don't think I ever had to rely on it. And because most of the people when I went there, I was just Marla to that. They knew me already. And, most of the time they were drunk at our house, but I just knew them. So it wasn't I don't think that I had to use it to open doors for me, but I think that it gave me a confidence in myself because I am so proud of that name, that it made me feel a little invincible inside myself. It didn't ever make me. I mean, if you ever meet me in person, you'll know I am so not cocky. I don't. But neither is my dad. My dad's one of the most. You would never in a million years know you were sitting at a table beside one of the best record producers that's in the business.
Yeah.
When you're sitting with him, and he's so humble, and I think that's because of my mom. I think that her graciousness and love for him helped him stay humble. And they're not extravagant people. They're just good folks. And so I come from a very poor family. And my mom worked 3 jobs so that my dad could chase music.
Right.
And I think it makes a difference. My husband worked at UPS. He kept us in insurance. So my family, the name Cannon to me, I kept it because it's my name. And not because it's his name, but because it was mine. Right. And I know that his talent. I told my mom this. I have the heart I do because of my mom. I have the ability, my talent because of my dad. But I also know that my dad has his talent because of my grandmother. And I know my mom has her heart because of my grandmother. So it's like it's the gift that keeps giving.
I love that.
So yes, I believe that. I don't believe that it opens the doors. I believe that it is the doors.
I love that. It's funny when I asked that same question to Jerry, he mentioned his mom first as well. So it's very interesting. In his situation, his mom never gets the credit she deserves in the formation of rock and roll, an entire genre, an entire way of life, so to speak. So it was really cool to listen to him talk about his mom's role, and now the same thing with you. Um,
Yeah,
it's very, very important to have that support system when you're following a passion. So I completely see that as well. Do you think with you, we talk about opening doors and all of that. Do you feel like your rebelliousness of not wanting to be part of the scene, not wanting to be part of the industry at first, do you think that helped you or hurt you? Or was it,
I think it helped me
yeah,
because I did it by myself. I mean, I got my publishing deal. I made my mistakes myself,
right.
and
Because I know the perception of paying dues in Nashville is kind of important.
yeah, I was actually we were at in the round doing a guitar pull in my living room, and my parents were there, and my dad was sitting in the living room, and Charlie says, "Hey, Marla, why don't you sing one?" And I saw Dad kind of cock his head, like, "What are you going to sing?" And I sang a song, and he goes, "Man, I love that. Who wrote it?" And Charlie said, "Me and Marla." And Dad goes, "Are you kidding me?" And he goes, "Sing another one." And so I did another one the actual second song I ever wrote, which was one I wrote with Gene. And we were doing a show out at Larry Bastion's house. I wasn't supposed to be singing on it. We were just out there for it. Dad was playing it. And I just was new in the scene, and I was writing with everybody, so I went.
Mm-hmm.
And I they had just got the stage already, and somebody said, "Marla, jump up there and sing a song." And we had just written The Fool, and I climbed up on the stage, and I was about to throw my guts up. I had never sang in front of people before. I was terrified, and I get up there and I sang The Fool. And when I started singing, my dad walked around the corner and he crossed his arms like this and stood and watched me the whole time singing. And when I came off the stage, he walked up straight up to me and he said, "I think you just wrote a classic."
Yeah.
And I about peed my pants.
Well, he wasn't wrong. That's for sure.
I, I was like, wow. And it's funny when we play out too. Sometimes right before I sing it, because I always sing it last. And right before I sing it, he'll every once in a while he'll say, "This is still one of the best songs I've ever heard," and it still makes my heart flip over every time he says it.
Yeah. Because I mean, I've heard some interviews from him. He's not just going to say that because you're his daughter either. That's not a daughter
Oh
thing.
God, no.
Yeah.
He'll say that song sucks.
Yep. Yep. And you mentioned that earlier, how he was harder on you. And I guarantee you benefited heavily from that, him being hard
Absolutely.
on you. You know. Man, I'm so blessed to have you here today, Marla. Thank you so much for your
Oh,
time.
thank you so much for having me. I'm so thankful to be here.
I hope you had a good time.
Oh, absolutely.
Hopefully, I asked you some stuff that made you think a little bit.
Absolutely.